Fair trade began as a way to improve community conditions around the world, focusing on social, economic, and environmental development projects that support community infrastructure and ongoing success. With advocacy and guidance through fair trade, developing communities all over the world have used the funds created from fair trade to improve their quality of life. Today, fair trade is a global, collaborative effort. Demand for responsibly sourced products has steadily increased since the Federation's inception in 1994.
So fair trade developed over a long period of time. It didn't have a parameter or a name or any sort of structure to it really. But a big pinpoint in the timeline of fair trade would have to go to Edna Ruth Byler, who actually started the very first established fair trade cooperative. She was a Mennonite, and through her church she traveled to Peru and she met some artisans there. She fell in love with the culture, the community, and she brought back some of their crafts to her church, and she would sell these crafts at the fairs and then give the money back to the artisans, and she would just make these trips back and forth. And Edna Ruth Byler is actually the woman who started 10,000 Villages, which is one of the most well-known fair trade businesses in the US. The Fair Trade Federation was founded in 1994, and Kindred is a member of the Fair Trade Federation, which essentially means that we are committed to supporting only fair trade artisans. Under the Federation, we have to represent 85% of our inventory certified fair trade. Different projects are funded through these organizations for just depending on what is needed within the community. A lot of the time, like in India, if they do woodblock printing, they are using gallons of water to wash the clothing after they block print it, and then drying it, and then block printing it again, and then washing it again, and they just use so much water that just goes to waste. Construct that these nonprofits or that these that the Federation gives to them will show them this is what you need to save your money up for, and then this is how it can be utilized to better your production and your community. One co-op that we work with, they're called Seiko Sandals. They work with women in Uganda who are trying to continue their education and go into college. So they are required by the co-op to put away half of their earnings through the production of these shoes to go towards going back to school. Within Sonoma County, there are quite a few retail outlets for fair trade. There's actually some locally owned fair trade co-ops as well. There's Farfetched out of Sebastopol. They work with artisans in Mexico making silver jewelry and gold jewelry. There's Indigenous Designs also out of Sebastopol, and they work with artisans in Peru working with all organic alpaca wool, making clothing and other accessories. Jacques Chocolate in Petaluma, they work with all small farmers in South America. I do think that fair trade is becoming more mainstream because I think conscious consumerism is rising. Again, people are very conscious of how they spend their money. People are very conscious of where their money is going and who it's profiting, and people want to know that how they're spending their money is positive.